Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me for today's YouTube jazz guitar lesson. In today's lesson I'd like to show you a really useful chord practice technique that you can use for any kind of jazz guitar chords that you're working on. For the purposes of today's lesson I'm going to be using drop 2 voicings. If you don't know what these are, there's an article on my website which is linked to in the description below, and that explains what these drop 2 chords are and all the inversions that you're going to need to be able to play them. So the drop 2 voicings I'm going to be using are applied to a 2-5-1 progression, and we're going to be looking at 2-5-1 in the key of B flat. So that's C minor 7 for a bar, F7 for a bar, and then B flat major 7 for a bar. So in time that's one bar of each chord. The type of drop 2 voicings that I'm going to be using here are the ones on the top 4 strings of the guitar. So we should have one C minor 7 voicing that has the 5th as the top note of the voicing on the top E string. The next voicing will have the 7th on the 6th fret of the top E string. Next one has the root, the 8th fret of the top E string. The last one has the minor 3rd on the 11th fret of the top E string. So 4 different voicings for C minor 7. Now when a lot of people learn these drop 2 chord voicings, they kind of struggle to make music out of them because let's face it, if you learn the ones on the top 4 strings and you learn the ones on strings 2, 3 and 4, that's 8 different voicings for one chord. And if you've got a 2-5-1, which you usually get in jazz, a new chord every bar, that's 8, 16, that's 24 sets of voicings you've got to kind of get your head round and use in a musical setting, which is a lot of chords. So this exercise that I'm going to show you, it really helps to break this process down and helps you make some music with these drop 2 chord voicings. So what we're going to do is, for this first chord, C minor 7, I want you to find the arpeggio notes on the top string of the guitar for that. So obviously usually when we start arpeggios we start on the root, don't we, which would be C, but the closest arpeggio note on the top E string is actually a G note there, a G. So if we were playing this arpeggio on one string of the guitar, we'd have a G, which is the 5th, B flat 7, C, which is the root, and then an E flat there, which is the minor 3rd. So we're actually starting the arpeggio from the 5th of the chord there. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a go at playing like a little lick, just using single notes from the arpeggio first. So if I could do something like this, there I played the 5th twice, then I went to the minor 7th. I want you to do that, then I want you to have a go at finding that in chords, and automatically we have something that sounds a bit more musical than because we've got rhythm, which is really the key to making these cool chord licks and even single line licks, really. So you can do that for all the arpeggio notes and then find that in chords. Really useful thing to be able to do. Really cool thing to be able to do is that. So I suggest you do it on the static chords at first. So that's for the C minor 7 chord. Just using the arpeggios for that. You can do it to the arpeggio notes on the 2nd string as well. E flat, G, B flat, C. But for time purposes, I'm just going to be demonstrating this on the top 4 voicings. You will usually find that the voicings on the top 4 strings are a bit smoother to operate, whereas the ones on the middle strings are a bit more kind of, the grips are a bit bigger, but you can still do it on them if you want to. So the next chord in a 2-5-1 in B flat is an F7 chord. What I do, F7 chord, I don't really use drop 2 voicings for that. What I do is I get the root in each chord and I raise it up by a semitone to make it an F7 flat 9 chord, and I find that these have a nicer sound than just using the regular dominant 7s. You have a bit more crunch when they resolve to the 1 chord, rather than just using plain drop 2 dominant 7 chords. So what you'll find is the arpeggio notes for this are a bit different. If we play like an F7 arpeggio on the top string of the guitar, that'll be F, A, C, E flat. If I want to make that a dominant 7 flat 9 arpeggio, just raise the root by a half step. So we have F sharp, A, C, E flat. And then do the same thing as what I did with the C minor 7. Think of rhythms on the top string. And then play them in chords afterwards. So now you should be able to play a few nice little single chord licks for each chord type, a few for C minor 7, a few for F7. The next step after this is to put these together. So what we need to do now is think of a melody line for the C minor 7 that then goes to the F7. See what I did there? I started on the 5th of the C minor 7, went to the voicing with the 7th on the top, and then I went to the voicing which has the 3rd on the top. So I'm now combining these chords together. And then I'm going to the next chord voicing there, which is the B flat major 7. That's the 1 chord. With this you want to do the same thing as what you did with the previous 2 chords. You want to find the arpeggio notes for the B flat major 7 chord on the top string to begin with. F, A, B flat, D, F. And then find the chords to that, and you can do that on the 2nd string if you want. And when you can do that, you can start to put together these really nice big band style punchy chord phrases that work well as jazz guitar chord solos, or even just nice rhythmic ideas for comping. One thing you might want to do if you're playing them as chord solos is if you're playing like that example there, if you kind of using one note, if you're hitting one note more than once, you might want to strum the chord first and then just pick the single string a few times after, because if you just strum the chord it sounds a bit kind of clumsy, but if you kind of just strum the chord once and then just hit that top string, that still sounds quite nice because you've got the chord still ringing out while you're hitting the melody note. But if you're just hitting a chord once, you might just want to strum down. So that's the technique that I'd like to show to you. Really, really useful, really, really helpful for practicing chords, and you can do it with any kind of chords you look at, really. I mean, if you looked at quarter chords, they have melody notes which have, you know, that's like the harmonised major scale, so you've got kind of more choices there. But, you know, if this is a new exercise to you, I would really suggest using drop 2 chords first, because you've only got 4 voicings to kind of worry about, and this should result in some more musical kind of comping and chord melody phrases. So I really hope you enjoyed this jazz guitar lesson. If you did, please click the like video below, and please subscribe to this channel to get free access to more jazz and blues guitar lesson videos. So thanks again for checking this video lesson out, and I'll see you in the next lesson.